Alright, hello everyone! Welcome back to some more Genshin Impact. Welcome back to Nod-Krai. Welcome back to Pyramida. Last time, in the last episode, it was pretty spooky, I must say. We went over here to this post-apocalyptic Elysium, this underground bunker where spooky, scary things seem to have been happening. But the big thing is, we found our fourth proof of the Cognoscenti. One of 5 things that are supposed to help us find the location of the legendary thief Reed Miller's treasure. Something we've been looking for a while now. And it looks like we're in the final quest to find the final proof of the Cognoscenti and uncover the location of the treasure once and for all. And maybe learn a little bit more about Reed Miller too. Reed Miller is like everywhere in Nod-Krai's lore, you know. He was a descendant of the Frostmoon Scions, you know, he was friends with Isla and Solove. Like, he seemed to know everyone, to be involved in everything. And we have been picking up bits and pieces of the lore of Nod-Krai 500 years ago throughout many quests in our time here so far, including the one we just did. Anyway, though, it seems we're finally ready to do the Raven's Legacy. The great treasure is within reach. It's now time to go find Reed Miller's treasure, although it looks like we have to go up Pyramida. And see, I don't want to trigger the Ilia quest yet. I want to do that one afterwards. So how about I don't take the, you know, elevator, the cable car up? What if I just, you know, climb? Although I'm sure climbing has a very high chance of also triggering the other quest. I only want to trigger the quest I want to trigger one at a time. Is there like a focus experience mode? Maybe there's a focus experience mode. There isn't a focus experience mode, alright. Although I find it doesn't necessarily work the way I would think it would work all the time anyway. Like if a quest has already started somewhere, it will just carry on. Like we had focus experience mode on say when we were doing the Nod-Krai Archon quest. It still started that quest at the Frostmoon Scions when we walked through there. When Lama walked through there anyway. That's happened a couple more times too. Say like with the Masters of the Nightwind story quest. We kept walking into it over and over again, even with focus experience mode on. Still didn't do the trick. Oh wow, look at us like breaking into Pyramida. You know, we don't have to go like this, but this is the way I've insisted on going. But it's just regular people and the Ratniki that are here, so I don't know why I'm being so suspicious about here for. Elevator, take me up! Oh, here you go. Just so carefully avoiding talking to anybody. At all. Oh, take the stairs here. Oh, Tolfin! Tales carried by the North Wind. Oh! Hold on. I think that's, yeah, 100%ed this now! I didn't realize that would have only one part to it. Or maybe I already got the other parts, I don't remember. But look, we got this new name card! The traveler once stood atop the town, gazing toward the distant horizon, confident that the far-off sights within view would one day become milestones in the journey ahead. Oh, it's a Nasha Town card! I like that. One of Aino's bots, maybe the cannon represented there. Very nice. Very mysterious. Tolfin! Tolfin, what are you doing here? Ah, fantastic. Just the duo I was waiting for. Huh? How did you know we would come here? Have you been following us since we parted at Blue Amber Lake? Kind of. He seems to be, whenever I go to Nasha Town, go to the Frostmoon Scions, like, dude's just hanging out there. He's just like, you know, playing music, you know, like a bard. No, seriously though, this guy just appears in random places since we did that quest. I was only joking. I came back to visit my parents and just so happened to be running errands here in Pyramida when I spotted the two of you. Hi, Muncies. Huh, so you have family here? What's strange about that? Just like a raven is born to raven parents, people don't magically appear out of thin air, true. That's not what Paimon meant. Though come to think of it, we're not really that close and Paimon can see how it's kind of a personal question. Can I ask a question that isn't so personal? Good idea. Tolfin knows everyone and everything. He just might have the info we need. You account your experiences searching for and finding the proofs of the Cognoscenti after leaving Blue Amber Lake. We have 4 of them now. So, Tolfin, do you have any idea where the last proof of the Cognoscenti could be? I do have a few thoughts. However, seeing as it's Teddy, he'll probably be fine. From everything I've heard about your adventures, I believe he should be able to overcome the trial. Oh, a trial? There's not another trial. It isn't going to be impossible, is it? Then why didn't you tell us about it back at Blue Amber Lake? Of course there's going to be a trial. There's been a trial to get all the other proofs of the Cognoscenti. And need I remind you, we're still missing one. Well, the fact that we can meet here again is a sign that our fates are somehow intertwined. Rather than dwell on the past, we should look toward the future instead. He could have come up with so many other excuses, like, oh, you know, there were other people present. You just weren't ready for the knowledge. I didn't know you were going to get all 4 of them. So he could have come up with so many better excuses. Whoa, do you see how eerie the Experimental Design Bureau is behind here? Wow, that change of subject couldn't have felt any more forced if you tried. The last proof of the Cognoscenti is actually with my grandmother. I'm on my way to visit her now. Why don't you tag along? Sure. Seriously? What are the chances? Tolfin's grandmother? What do you think she's like? Do you think she's the kind of sweet old lady who loves to tell stories? I have a sneaking suspicion of who his grandmother is. She does tell stories, but never mind. You'll see when we get there. Alright. Great. Managed to avoid interacting with anybody here in Pyramida, which of course is the overarching goal, I suppose, isn't it? Alright. Of course, I'm thinking, would Reed Miller really put a giant X marks the spot on the location of his treasure on the literal world map? And yet that appears to be somewhat possible. Oh, look at this perfectly arena-shaped dirt area that we have here. And a suspicious figure that appeared in the promo material for this version update. Well, well, well. Look who's remembered to visit. Did you take care of that matter for me, you little brat? Of course I did. Would I dare show my face here if I hadn't? This is my grandmother. Though I'm sure she'd rather be known as Hiljetta, the Black Barrel Hag, than a failed merchant's grandmother. Do people usually rather be referred to as a hag than grandmother? I don't. Okay, well, you guys do you, I guess. She doesn't look anything like Tolfin at all. She's far too serious. I hear that a lot, but at the end of the day, we're family, and we're a lot more alike than people think. This is Teddy, and this is Paimon. They've already found the other proofs of the Cognoscenti. Oh, so you've already found the other 4. Well, that takes some real talent. Yeah, it does. They were scattered all over the place. They were all attached to, like, different lore and everything. But I'm afraid you're going to have to let me see that talent for myself. Seeing as the brat brought you in, I won't make things too hard for you. How about we just trade a few moves? Alright, easy version of the boss. Hold on a second. Something about this doesn't feel right. And what exactly is the problem? If you want to get your hands on the great treasure, you'll naturally need to get past me first. She's a stubborn old bag of bones, but once she sees what you can do, everything will be on the table. Come on, it's in your hands now. Alright, well. Yeah, you know. Give it everything you got. I don't want you to hold back and then whinge about losing. Insulation chamber deployed. Yeah, you know, normally I don't think it's appropriate to. Oh, okay. I didn't even need to pull out Farina or Ether. That was all Brigitte and Columbina. I was gonna say, you know, usually I don't think it's really good taste to, you know, spar that way with your elders. But if this lady does so insist, who am I to refuse? Not bad at all. You do have promise. Here, this is the proof of the Cognoscenti you've been seeking. Wow, so easy, really? But if you want to claim the great treasure, there's still one final path you'll have to tread. Oh, there we go! A whole artifact set worth. We finally got all 5 proofs of the Cognoscenti. Not that it'll hold him back, not considering how sharp the little lad is. He's a far more fitting heir to the treasure hoarders than you are, you useless lump. Heir to the treasure hoarders? Me?
Huh? So Granny is a treasure hoarder? And Toffee and you too?
I guess you could say that.
Oh, Paimon never would have guessed. You don't look like a treasure hoarder. Don't tell Paimon you knew this all along.
Well, with that... See, I feel like I would have figured it out. I see what they're trying to show. He has the raven motif on his bag. Except on the iPad, it's all pixelated. If it wasn't, then I probably would have figured this out a lot faster. He doesn't act the part of the treasure hoarders, but I mean, we've met lots of people who don't act the part of whichever group they're affiliated with. Yeah, but that's fine. I figured it out pretty quickly. Well, once you show the symbol, yeah.
Don't tell me you didn't explain it to them. Were you really planning to deliver the great treasure to a couple of know-nothings who couldn't tell a treasure hoarder if they introduced themselves and brought them to their grandmother?
They've shown what they have to take. They have what it takes to gather the proofs of the Cognoscenti, and they handled your challenge just fine. In fact, weren't you praising them just now?
You little...
All right. Don't give yourself a heart attack. I'll explain everything to them right now. I'll see to it that Teddy is willing to be the treasure hoarder's heir, exactly as you wanted. What? Did I sign up for this? If I become the leader of the treasure hoarders, though, does that mean all the treasure hoarders across all of Teyvat have to bow down to me and will stop attacking me? That would be great.
And you really think you can make it all that clear to them lickety-split?
What are you so worried about? You won't shut up about how I'm just like that good-for-nothing Brahe. Oh, okay, that's the Reed Miller imposter that we heard about in the previous quest. At least I inherited his gift for smooth talking, didn't I? Tolfien leads you to a quiet corner to talk. I mean, is there anything you need to say to us that you can't say in front of your grandmother?
So what's really going on here? All we heard is that if we collect all 5 proofs of the Cognoscenti, we can find the great treasure hidden east of the moon, west of the sun.
Ta-da! The name of the quest line.
Are you seriously telling Paimon that we'd have to take over as leaders of the treasure hoarders just to get Reed Miller's treasure? Honestly, all this air talk is weirding Paimon out.
It's hard to imagine anyone leading the treasure hoarders. Well, they had to have had a founder, and that founder would have been their leader, of course. It makes sense. After all, why would they just let us have Reed Miller's treasure? Surely lots of people would have gone for Reed Miller's treasure with or without the proofs of the Cognoscenti. If it was so easy, there definitely had to be some other condition, right? Dude, those trees, see the tree with the lattice and structure in it? That's so interesting. I still wonder what causes that. Exactly. There are people who call themselves treasure hoarders in every corner of Teyvat these days, and that's where the problem lies. Ah, I see. The name has just become associated with all who seek treasure and hoard it. But back in the day, it used to mean something more. It used to represent this organization, this group that was led by the legendary Reed Miller himself. While we might be able to face reality, my stubborn old grandmother still dreams of the day when the treasure hoarders can restore their glory from the days of Reed Miller. She fantasizes that someone will come along and rally the masses, let the dead bury the dead, and rise to build an Elysium for the hungry and the poor on the wealth of the high and haughty. I see. Reed Miller was like Robin Hood then. The King of Elysium. While most of us have heard how Reed Miller stole from the rich to help the poor, very few know that the treasure hoarders once defended Elysium from the dark abyss. Oh, I did not know that. Interesting. It was the treasure hoarders' golden age. It was the worst of times, and yet somehow it was also the best. I guess times of crisis show people's true colors, and they helped out. I don't know, maybe things are still the same today, but that era has passed, and she'll have to accept that someday.
You're not wrong, but what are we supposed to do about it?
Yeah, she seems like she really wants us to inherit the mantle of treasure hoarder leader, although now that you explain it like this, it doesn't sound like it'd be that big of a deal. It does sound like if we go see treasure hoarders in any other corner of Teyvat, the title of leader of the treasure hoarders doesn't really mean anything to them because they're not even affiliated with the actual group. Before we go any further, are you willing to serve as heir to the treasure hoarders and see that Reed Miller's dream is one day fulfilled? I have my own dreams to fulfill. I just want to inherit the treasure he left behind. Well, we gotta have goals more noble than that. I have my own dreams to fulfill. That's true. But you know, if the dream is just to take care of the world, protect the world from the abyss, I mean, aren't we already doing that? Just as I thought. Then how about we do it this way? Let's put on a little show. Again?
That's what you said back at Blue Amber Lake. Sure, you helped us get the proof of the Cognoscenti back then, but who knows when you'll use those same sneaky tricks on us.
Why would I do anything to thwart you when you already have such good friends? Now, instead of being suspicious, how about we focus on what we're going to say? Okay. You have a brief discussion with Tolfin about how to convince Hiljetta. According to Tolfin, simply mentioning the name Avrelian, Avrelian, isn't that Reed Miller's real name? Should be enough to gain her trust, and if she ever brings up the name Brahe, all you have to say is that you don't agree with his methods. Okay, Brahe Reed Miller was the one who... So here's the thing, we found the proof of the Cognoscenti in the facility we just did the other quest for. There was a note saying to Miss Grazina, if you ever need to escape, give this to one of the treasure hoarders, and you'll be out of here. She was talking to Brahe. Not Avrelian. But, okay. But I guess Brahe somehow got his hands on the proof of the Cognoscenti too. As for who these two people actually are, Tolfin says it's a long story and promises to explain everything in detail when he gets the chance. Okay, you better. So, what do you say, little lad? Are you in? I will fulfill Avrelian's dream. Good, that's the spirit. If it weren't for the little brat acting just like that good-for-nothing Brahe, the proof of the Cognoscenti wouldn't have been scattered and lost for so long. Okay. Then I'm gonna assume the proofs of the Cognoscenti were created by Avrelian, and Brahe took the name Reed Miller and scattered them everywhere into 4 completely different world quests. About the whale and the shipwreck and the everybody from that town in Snezhnaya trying to get the proof, and then that facility. Somehow they ended up all over the place.
We're nothing like Tolfin, or that Braham McCullough fellow. You can rest assured.
Yeah. I like Tolfin, though. Even I have to admit that Teddy is the most suitable candidate to inherit the great treasure.
Then it's settled. All that's left for you is to retrieve the great treasure. At the treasure site, you'll likely run into a few tricks left behind by that good-for-nothing. I'm sure you'll be able to handle anything he came up with. Paimon still has no idea where east of the moon, west of the sun could be.
Oh, that. Well, it's beyond the horizon, yet so close you can touch it. Also, I won't be joining you for the next trial, so here's wishing you all the best. Still, I'll be in Pyramida for a little while longer, so please let me know if everything goes well. I'm counting on the both of you. Counting on us for what? A share of the treasure? Nah, but he's a friend. What's up? Harry, retrieve the great treasure. Okay! You got it. Thanks, Reed Miller, leaving an X marks the spot. That's super obvious where your treasure is. There's not many instances where they use like writing on the map, like on the actual world map. But like, I think in Natlan, and I think the Easy Breeze Holiday Resort has some. No? I don't think there's anywhere else in the world. I think they used it in the Valuria Mirage. Whoa. Open? Okay, that looks like where we need to put the proofs of the Cognoscenti. Hold on, let me just, deal with this little problem first. Did you see how quickly we dealt with Hiljetta, though? I have a feeling if we actually do the local legend, it will not be so simple. Just a thought. That was okay. Oh, Columbina! Oh, no, Kurt, Columbina! Where'd you go? It's really hard to fight in the trees like this. We took out something else, apparently. I didn't even see what it was. Oh, it's a slime. Poor slime. Didn't even know what hit it. Okay. Sure, I guess. Alright, well, who needs Reed Miller's treasure when we have a common chest and an exquisite chest out here?
They call this a pleasant surprise, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's actually quite... What is over there? Is that like Fontaine? It is like Fontaine. That's crazy. Well, no, it really is the giant X marks the spot. Oh, and he has a he's a weasel. Because he's a thief, he's a weasel. With a giant tail. Use heap of items, investigate. Yep, here's my Memorata Cognoscenti's Jest. Inscripta Cognoscenti's Feather. Devilcita Cognoscenti's Sorrow. Leavnexa Cognoscenti's Intoxication. And Stratagemma Cognoscenti's Mask. No adornments grace the mask, but for the frosty moonlight that dances across its pure silver facade. There we go. Discovered Hiljetta. Okay, now we can go fight the local legend version if we want, which is much harder than what we just did.
Let's head down there and check it out.
Even the statue is like surrounded in gold. Alright, check. It looks like you can view all of the proofs of the Cognoscenti. Oh, okay. That's a lot of lore. We will come back for that. Oh, even its eyes are glowing. Oh, the Mora. Oh, the Mora. But seems Reed Miller, compared to a lot of the other treasure hoarders that use the treasure hoarder name today, he was an honorable thief. He was a Robin Hood kind of thief. Like I said, his lore ties everywhere across Nod-Krai. So this is pretty momentous. The Raven's Legacy. Find a way to open the door and leave. Leave? We're not leaving without the treasure. But yeah. Oh, there's Weasel Thief. What's up, Weasel Thief? Where'd it go? Oh, here. There's lots of Weasel Thieves. Of course, of course. Reed Miller was a weasel himself. Probably had a weasel companion, just like Tolfien does. Okay. Suspicious notice. Gold is noble and silver bright, but which metal would truly please the iron-faced gatekeeper's sight? As the saying goes, like calls to like, so perhaps the answer is already cut and dried. I was kind of looking for that to bright. Right? Rhyme. Bright, sight, like. Okay, like doesn't really rhyme. Anyway. A line of tiny text is written in the corner of the notice. Easy to miss if one isn't paying attention. And if all else fails, winning by brute force still makes you the hero. Okay.
I can't make sense of any of this.
Well, I'm glad for your approval in terms of using brute force.
So which one opens the door? Wasn't there some sort of hint?
Yeah, the door itself is gold. The door itself is gold, and then the hint is... no, I'm not gonna kill the weasels. I think that's what they mean by brute force. I'm not doing that. The iron-faced gatekeeper's sight. Okay, gold is noble and silver bright, but which metal would truly please the iron-faced gatekeeper's sight? Okay, who's the iron-faced gatekeeper? Is that the door or the weasel? I don't know. I think it's the weasel. As the saying goes, like calls to like. So perhaps the answer's already cut and dried. Okay. Well, devoted weasel assistants, I assume you guys are not the same weasels from 500 years ago. Probably you're the descendants of those weasels who's just been waiting for somebody to come and try out Reed Miller's treasure. You're just like those, you're just like, in Fire Emblem Engage. Like what's their name? Like, I literally don't remember any of their names, but you know the attendants who are all waiting when Alir wakes up. And they've they're generations of people have watched over the sleeping body of the dragon. We're the ones who actually get to be here when you wake up. That's what I feel like right now. golden key. Pick up metal key. Pick up silver key. But actually, this one looks like it probably works. There we go.
Nice, a metal key. What's this? It almost looks like an iron coin, but not quite.
Strange iron coin. Yeah, I figured though, because that at first I thought it was the gold door, it matched the gold key, but when I looked at it actually, it was like, oh, the metal key actually looks like it matches the door. Like calls to like, and it was talking about gold and silver, but really I think it makes us want to have, like, you know, more than just gold and silver. What goes beyond it? It's something hiding in plain sight. A coin that resembles a common iron coin, though it may be a different variant. What do you mean a common iron coin? We use Mora. We don't use coins that look like that. Oh, unless you're the treasure hoarders, and you definitely use coins like that. All these little weasels. What was the brute force option then? Was it actually killing the weasels? I don't want to kill the weasels. Find a way to open the door and leave.
What? It took up an explosive barrel. This is getting super dangerous.
Oh, it exploded. Suspicious notice. Within this little plot, both danger and luck are found. To tell fake from real, look where the strange rock lights the ground. Little, tiny text. The main gate is locked down hard, so don't bother trying until the skies fall apart. Okay, don't brute force that one. That's what they're saying. The light? What is it talking about? Strange rock lights the ground. Strange rock? Strange rock. Strange rock. I don't understand. I don't want to touch anything until I understand. Okay, we have Kuvaki here. Oh, by the way, if you use Kuvaki with Columbina, she has her little wings. That's so cool. Okay. This is like a mini version of the door to Conria. Okay, strange... Oh, strange rock lights the ground? Okay.
Wow, you really managed to find a key.
Oh, okay. Okay. Huh. Well, I thought we'd have to dig up all these things, but it turns out we needed none of that. I just needed to come up there, and we just needed to be curious and be like, hey, where does this path lead to? Maybe that's what Reed Miller would have wanted out of... Oh.
Huh, they have more... Oh, no, it's a trap!
Okay. That's what Reed Miller would have wanted all along, was for us to be curious about things. Okay. These keys all look the same. Oh no. What was this? Let clanging iron coins fall and halt right at its feet. The greedy weasel thieves are lured out only by the tinkling of iron coins. Okay. Pick up an iron coin and throw it at the fleeing weasel thieves to make it stop in their tracks. Okay. Suspicious notice. The stubborn weasel digs the dirt, its hurried form unseen. The key is given darkly where moving shadows screen. Let clanging iron coins fall and halt right at its feet. A forceful claim may yet a bounty sweet. A line of tiny text, okay. The little ones have picky taste, so use what they like to tease out their trace. Okay. Is there different coins? Okay, you guys are so... Okay, check.
Nope, not this one.
Okay. At least Paimon seems to know. Okay. You're all out of iron coins. Okay, apparently none of them were... What? What do I place here? Place where? Pine cones? Oh, I have pine cones. You want more pine cones? I stole a pine cone! Aged pine cone? I stole mysterious meat. I don't think you should eat that at all. What the heck? A fresh chunk of meat that seems to be irradiating an enigmatic aura. Wonder what it'll taste like. Don't eat that! An old seed that's long past fresh. Even in desperate times, it's probably not a good idea to eat it. Wait, read? What do you read? What do you read about these? What the heck? Yehoda, I knew you'd come back. By the time you read this letter, I'll already have departed from where I belong. No, this is... This is not right. That's from Yehoda's World Quest. That's not related to the pine cone. I was like, what? Yehoda? Oh, she was a treasure hoarder formerly. Check.
It's not this one either.
Does somebody want this meat?
Wow, it actually brought the key.
Oh, you wanna eat this meat? What was all that about the coins then? Okay, it's seeming like all of these puzzles set up by Reed Miller, whether that be real Reed Miller or fake Reed Miller, still unclear about that. Seems to be whatever they tell you the puzzle's about, it's actually about something different. You have to read into it.
Okay.
Alright, tell me, Weasel Thieves. What challenge do you have for me next? Iron coins, I don't need any more iron coins. Is this it? Reed Miller's great treasure?
So shiny! We don't need to take any more commissions from the Adventurers Guild anymore. Come on, let's go take a look.
I want you too fast. But I know, I'm so excited too! Elysium's final treasure added to the archive. Whoa. You know, when they told me they were looking for Reed Miller's treasure, I didn't think they actually meant we would be looking for a vault full of gold coins. I figured it'd be something like in Kung Fu Panda, where there would be like nothing there, and it was like the true treasure was all the lessons and friends you made along the way. No, it seems like Reed Miller is legit. He actually has coins here. That's pretty insane. Alright. Wow.
Another Weasel Thief statue. Looks like it's not enough. If only I had another couple of special iron coins. Why don't we take a look around?
Okay, we have 3 of them. So I guess we got one from each stage of the investigate. Okay. Brahe's Notes 1. The arrangement of the treasure vault is pretty much complete. Without the help of these little weasel friends, I'd have no idea how to transport many iron coins here without anyone noticing. Oh, they helped. That's how you're able to get all the coins in here. So to commemorate their service and hard work, I'll call these little critters Weasel Thieves and grant them the title of official treasure hoarders from now on. Aww. So that's why they're called Weasel Thieves. The name came from Brahe over here. Just kidding. If Miss Alia, this is Alia, not Isla. If Miss Alia knew in the afterlife that I was giving wild weasels such absurd names, she'd probably jump right out of the Pillar of Embla and beat me up. Okay, that's something I gotta remember. Alia and the Pillar of Embla. Okay. There's no way I can call them that. Unless, of course, if I were to write poetry in the future and failed to come up with any other name, or if no other name would make the rhythm or meter work. I have to say, Father had a real eye for hiding secret funds. This place is so well concealed that not only would it be unlikely for anyone to stumble upon it, even wild weasels would have a hard time squeezing in here without guidance. It's such a pity that his foresight has only ever extended so far. Even when Rotwang used him up to the hilt, he never harbored the slightest suspicion. Alright. Rotwang bad. That's what we've gotten the sense of so far. Ultimately, the secret funds he hid here back then were only stolen because of those 2 old geezers, Avrilian and Sylvester, came snooping around and coaxed the words out of me. By Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Okay, the Tsaritsas around at this point. I was only 5 years old. 2 young men playing good cop and bad cop, using both carrot and stick to get a 5-year-old to talk. What normal human could come up with that? Actually, forget humans. What normal fae, djinn, seelie, specter, lockfolk, phantasm, or whatever creature would even think of this? Secret heirs of the Frostmoon Signs, indeed. What rotten, immoral behavior. Father chewed me out for 3 days afterwards, and even the Petrichor vacation I'd been promised got washed out. Oh no! We love vacations at Petrichor. That place got washed out later, too. What's more infuriating is that when I brought this up to Sylvester a while ago, he actually claimed he couldn't recall how he deceived me back then. Just that Avrilian claimed to want the children to lead better lives. I completely understand their thoughts and actions. Return all the wealth Father had plundered to those poor children. It was the right thing to do. But really, did they have to do it through me? Was I really the sole avenue through which a breakthrough could have been made, gentlemen? I see. So your father was the rich by which these thieves were stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Which sounds like you were not morally opposed to. Um, well, it's an ingenious idea. I do also question the ethics of, involving a child in something like this, but I am gonna guess all's well that ends well. I guess we'll find that out. Besides, and Sylvester probably doesn't know this, the secret funds they stole pretending to be chivalrous outlaws who robbed the rich to help the poor were back in Father's coffers in less than 3 days, several times the original amount extorted from other sources. Those self-important profiteers can always rake in wealth without lifting a finger, while the venal sycophants who surround them twist it into proof of their master's innate diligence and wisdom. No one could become that rich otherwise, surely. Yeah, so as we can tell when the other guy who was, the ultimate calamity in the previous quest, very much thought his master was the greatest. The game of robbing the rich to feed the poor only adds weight to the shackles of the impoverished. As Miss Alia's terrifyingly gloomy sister once told me, okay, that's Isla. No matter how pure the water of goodwill, if it falls on soil poisoned with malice, seeds of evil are the only things that will grow. Aurelian probably realized this eventually, but his Elysium, no matter how firmly he believed it existed on Earth, remained much too far from those truly suffering in poverty. After all, how can someone who has never known a moment of kindness, someone constantly insulted and harmed, be expected to believe they should love their neighbor, or even their enemies? Neither Aurelian nor Miss Alia had ever answered that question. They were both kind people who imagined people to be better than they really were, believing that virtues and ideals could overcome the evil bred by circumstance. Unfortunately, I am just a selfish nobleman, and I lack their kindness. I suspect Aurelian felt the same. After all, in his eyes, there has probably only ever been one truly kind noble in this world. Who's that? The things I've witnessed leave me unable to hold such idealistic confidence in human nature. It's barely been a decade since Miss Alia's sacrifice, and those bandits who scattered like frightened birds and beasts have already begun brazenly misusing Aurelian's words to justify their atrocities against the innocent. Whether it's wandering merchants barely scraping by, or overworked laborers starving for their next meal, anyone who could be branded a lackey of princes, or a traitor who betrays his brothers and neighbors, and therefore ripe for the noble robbery. Yeah, that's definitely misinterpreting and misusing his words. Those who came before evil with noble ideals. Now the bandits who claim to be their successors wave the same banner, declaring that anyone who opposes them is an enemy of those noble ideals, thus embodying the very evil that was once defeated. I can send bandits who committed atrocities in the name of Reed Miller and oppressed the laboring poor to the Eye of Crotty, where they'll sleep with the fishes for good. Alright. So I assume that's what happened then with that shipwreck we found at the Eye of Crotty. In fact, I've already done so. Alright, well that's exactly what we found then. But what about after I die? Who can guarantee that those once noble ideals won't be twisted into crimes even I can't imagine? Al-Akmar could not guarantee it. Aranias could not guarantee it. Shibalanke could not guarantee it. The noble lords of the Mondstadt aristocracy failed to guarantee it. Nor can the Frostmoon Scions guarantee it. And some so-called master thief Reed Miller will surely fail to guarantee it. Evil comes from humanity as naturally as honey from a hive. I'm neither Aurelian, nor Sylvester, nor Miss Alia, who enchants me so. I cannot place all my hope in human nature the way they did. I don't want the name of Master Thief Reed Miller to fade into history, forgotten by all. Once more, I don't want that name and the ideals it once stood for to be twisted by future villains and reviled by the public. Hence, there's only one solution I can think of. Let these so-called ideals be buried in history. Let us smother them beneath countless contradictory, absurd, laughable, yet irresistible stories until every trace of meaning is worn away and only a sleeping legend remains. This way, anyone who commits evil in our name will never be mistaken for a serious idealist. Rather, they shall be dismissed as child dreamers drunk on romantic tales. Interesting. Greed always outlasts ideals. At least that's what I believe. As long as the tale of the great treasure continues to be told, there will always be gamblers dreaming of making a fortune overnight, repeating the name of the master thief Reed Miller endlessly. Better a harmless name, one that lets the poor laugh from the heart, one that gives them a little more courage to face tomorrow than a banner that villains would seek to claim. If the rebels of some future age truly need a new banner, they will find a hero who belongs to their own time, and whatever hero's name it may be, it should never be Master Thief Reed Miller. Okay. A lot here. So first, Brahe seems to be... he's a different generation, like younger than Aurelian, the original Reed Miller. It sounds like Brahe wanted to take up the name Reed Miller in order to... Okay, and yes, we know that this is 50 years since... Okay, because I assume Reed Miller lived during the time of the Cataclysm, which was 500 years ago. The facility we were just in that had recordings between Grazina and Brahe were from 450 years ago, so that's like a 50-year time gap, which explains like the generational difference between Aurelian and Brahe. It sounds like already 50 years later, the name of Reed Miller is already being misinterpreted and misconstrued and used for people's personal gain, which is not what Reed Miller himself desired. You know, he was... But Brahe here does not have the same, you know, ideals that Aurelian had of believing that believing in the good of humanity, and that doing these things, everything will be okay. I mean, from his perspective, from Brahe's perspective, being the son of a nobleman, he saw how those funds were just stolen from his father, and his father managed to get wealthy again anyways. And that none of this seemed to stop the rich from getting richer and the poor from getting poorer. In fact, it only just aggravated the situation. But doesn't want Reed Miller's name to be used for that, you know, to be taken up by later generations as an excuse to steal from anybody, when the original Reed Miller would have just stolen from the rich to give to the poor. So he's trying to preserve the name Reed Miller by making it into legend, so that way that's why we hear so many stories from everyone about the legendary Reed Miller, because the name has turned the name to more of an ideal than a person, embodying that heroic nature rather than just the sort of Robin Hood ideals the original Reed Miller had, because those can be misconstrued for personal gain. Have I followed that about right? I'm probably at least 80% right. Right? Do you think the coins could be down here? Could be down here. I don't see anything that could be the coins down here. Okay, how do I get back up then? Let me back up! Couldn't you guys put a ladder down here or something? What about if some fool who came to take up the mantle of Reed Miller in the future was silly and would fall down from the bridges because you didn't anticipate 500 years ago your bridges would be all broken and worn out? Yeah, that was really a big oversight from you guys, isn't it? Okay. Okay, why am I looking all around here, though? The coins are probably in the, you know, giant mountain of money here. What is this? Investigate. Okay, a message from the legendary thief Reed Miller. To you, my esteemed guest who has gathered all the proof of the Cognoscenti, if you're reading this note, it means you've successfully solved my puzzle. Congratulations, well done. Now, the legendary treasure you're looking for is right in front of you. You're welcome. Please enjoy yourself. These unclaimed riches are the spoils due to the Cognoscenti. However, as the founder of the treasure hoarders, I would like to give you one more piece of advice. No matter who you are, exposing mountains of wealth to the light of day, flaunting it in pursuit of glory and vanity, thereby attracting the envy and covetous eyes of countless onlookers, it is not a wise move. Please take these treasures which belong to you alone away quietly, then remove this note and pretend you never found anything. Let people believe that the proof of the Cognoscenti still lies scattered across every corner of this continent, waiting to be gathered by those fortunate few chosen by fate. Let the story continue to circulate. Let those who dream of sudden riches continue their hard work. This way, the wealth you've obtained after countless trials will sit much more safely in your hands. Master Thief Reed Miller. I see. Well, many would argue if you're just hoarding money, but you don't plan to spend it or flaunt it or anything, or even use it for, say, you know, doing charity work, being a philanthropist, then what would be the point of accumulating all this wealth? I guess the way this is worded, though, I'm guessing this comes from Brahe again, and this is about making sure the legend of Reed Miller and the legend of the treasure stays for as long as possible, giving people that, you know, spark of desire to keep pursuing things.
Look, where's all the more? This is just a bunch of iron coins.
Yeah, if you think about it, these are the kinds of coins that treasure hoarders usually drop. You can't even open this treasure chest. Of course, this one treasure chest seems, you know, pretty small compared to this literal giant mountain of money we're walking on. There's no way this is going to fit into our our little tiny backpack. Oh, the weasel thieves are just literally swimming in it. Literally. Oh? Look for the strange iron coins. Okay. Yay! They opened it for us. Thank you.
Wow, this was hiding here all along. There could be countless more chests hiding under all these coins, but between the two of us, we'll be digging forever.
Yeah, long story short, it seems like they did not use Mora as their currency. Alright. Brought his notes too. Okay. I never imagined that someone would find the treasure vault just 3 weeks after I set it up. Ah, that's unfortunate, dude. What surprised me even more is that I'd actually recognized the person. I never thought I'd run into him here. Dmitry Dubrovich Sukhotin, trusted aide of Grand Duke Filipov, third-class military officer, chief instructor of the Snezhnayan Royal Military Academy. If I remember correctly, he was promoted to this position the year Avrelian enrolled. Okay, so Avrelian was also at the Royal Military Academy, occupying said cushy, lucrative position until the Conrian disaster. Yes. That confirms what I said earlier. Reed Miller lived during the time of the Conrian cataclysm. He would even host foreign dignitaries occasionally, such as the Commander-in-Chief of the Fontaine's Great White Armada, the Grand Master of Mondstadt's Knights of Favonius. In short, he was a real show-off. I wonder who was the Grand Master at that time. According to official records, he had long since died alongside His Majesty the Tsar, sacrificing himself for the nation. Not that this is anything new. Even Avrelian once appeared as deceased in the records. One can always rely on the unreliability of the Snezhnaya civil system. Alright, so it's easy for people to fake their deaths, is what you're saying. What surprised me was that the old man before me seemed almost entirely different from the spirited, haughty, and overbearing officer I once remembered. I don't know what he endured, but he looked far more gaunt in age than his years. The moment he saw me, his first instinct was to draw his sword and strike. Luckily, I reacted this time, parrying his blade with Avrelian's gauntlet and shouting his name. He froze for a moment, muttering incoherently for a while. It was as if he hadn't used human speech in ages. Finally, he forced out his first phrase, asking who I was. Okay, what happened to him? What happened to this guy? What's his name? Dmitry Dubrovich Sukhotin. I spent a long time talking with the old man. He said he no longer remembered me, but he remembered my father's name, of course. Right, because he was the son of a nobleman. He abandoned his own noble title and name long ago, choosing instead to spend the rest of his life protecting the children at the borderlands. Those homeless children wandering through wastelands. At first I thought he had built a shelter. I didn't realize the children had never even seen him. He slew the wicked villains who sought to harm them out of their sight. As for why he did it, what truly happened in Conria, and how he ended up in Nod-Krai, he refused to say. Naturally, I didn't press further. Oh... Do you think... You remember the story of Mikoshi Chiyo in Inazuma? How somebody can be corrupted by the abyss and turn on... I wonder if this guy was corrupted by the abyss too. This happened a lot during the Conria cataclysm. I mean... But he still seemed to maintain his nature of wanting to protect the children. But he couldn't remember Brahe anymore. Interesting. The old man had absolutely no interest in treasure and hadn't even heard of the rumors I spread about the great treasure. You know, I was just thinking, Brahe didn't even need to make... He didn't even have to fill the treasure vault with Mora or iron coins or anything. You know, if it was just to have the legend of the great treasure spread throughout the land, it didn't even have to be a real great treasure. He simply felt that something was off about this place, suspected it was a slaver's camp, and following his instinct, stormed in with the intention of taking me out on the spot. After I finished explaining the thought process behind the treasure vault, the old man fell silent for a moment. He said that if a student had proposed such a ridiculous scheme back when he was chief instructor, he would have thrown it straight back and ordered them to start over. As for now, the old man's right. If someone else were to stumble in here the same way, guided by nothing but sharp instincts, then this entire plan would be pointless. I need to find a way to make this place nearly impossible to find, yet draw people towards the more attainable goals. I've got an idea, but first I need to talk to Isla, not Alia, and see if she's willing to help me. She probably would. After all, turning the story of Master Thief Reed Miller into the proof of the Cognoscenti, at least that's what I'll call it for now, would also serve as a tribute to Miss Alia. Okay, so the proof of the Cognoscenti actually had nothing to do with Avrilian Reed Miller. It was all about Brahe Reed Miller. Okay. Yeah, what's up, Weasel Thieves? Oh? More treasure? Investigate the chest. Investigate the chest? Alright, I want to open that, but I'm thinking there's probably one more coin in here. Radiant what? Okay, I was like, radiant, no, what do you mean? No, it's just an octopus. It's just an octopus, right guys? You know, it's not that big of a deal. Come on. Where'd it go? What, is it not taking damage? Okay, there it is. I was like, is it not taking damage? Don't hurt Columbina! Alright. That's number 5. Okay, there we go. Now we have 5.
Do you think the statue's hiding the path to the real great treasure?
If I'm thinking here, I'm thinking Brahe didn't actually need to put anything. Oh, these guys taking out the torches. No, the torches were cool. The torches are cool, little guys. You don't need to go that hard. Oh my gosh. What was the point of posting this note here as if you're being so mysterious, Master Thief Reed Miller, but then you left your journal entries all over this place to explain that your plot and plan. Anyway, I'm thinking Brahe didn't really need to fill this place with treasure, real or fake. But I'm guessing this treasure is fake, which brings about the point that there doesn't need to be a real treasure. It was all about the idea of the great treasure in the first place. There we go. Whoa. Kuvaki. It's making the coins. Whoa. It's floating up.
Oh.
Oh, it's a ship.
Oh, so there is a ship under all that? Why a ship? Oh, okay, so treasure could be on board.
I could be, but furthermore, what's up with this ship? Why would a ship be hidden in here? This is like in Moana.
I'll keep this close.
Yeah, alright. Well, if it's just a precious chest and 2 common chests, I'd say the great treasure is pretty great, if I do say so myself, which I do. Investigate, okay. Let's see. Brahe's Notes 3. Rumors about the proof of the Cognoscenti have spread. Once people know that a key exists, they won't go out of their way to find alternate means of entry. All I have to do now is fabricate a few tales of treasure hunters who have tried to take shortcuts but came up empty-handed, then spread them under the names of Brahe the Bard and Grand Duke Tubetskoy. That should be more than enough to convince future generations of the necessity of seeking the proof of the Cognoscenti. Like his greedy father, the new Grand Duke Chubetskoy heard rumors of the treasure and schemed to seize even the gifts the master thief had left for the poor. And what magnificent treasure it was, more splendid than the gold of Hisi, more dazzling than the silver of Kitsagrad. Even the flesh and blood of the Lord of Geo could scarcely measure its worth. Okay, that's a bold claim indeed. Such was the vast hoard of iron coins that the master thief left behind, wealth enough to shake the very economy of the northern lands. Wait, that's not right. If I were to list the treasure's contents outright, some people would lose interest. Yeah, and you can't erase it from your journal here. Such was the treasure that the master thief left behind, wealth enough to shake the very economy of the northern lands. Even a bard with such nimble lips and silver tongue as I could scarcely recount it in full. Alright, that'll do. And lastly, I'll spin something about how the new Grand Duke Trubetskoy effortlessly bested by the Master Thief's companion, a beauty known as Wagtail. As long as it's written in sufficiently dashing manner, I'm sure Miss Aliyah would not mind.
Look, it mentions Brahe over here. Looks like he was the one who made these records. So iron coins really were the currency here back in the day. That means a mountain of these things could truly be called a great treasure. If only we come here a few hundred years ago, we'd be rich! But iron coins aren't worth much more these days.
Yeah, I'm sure the exchange rate is very bad. As they say, value lies in scarcity. It is cool though with that Kuvaki mechanism to hide the ship though. What does the ship represent? And how'd you get in here? I understand the coins you're smuggling with the weasel thieves, but how did you get the whole ship in this cave? Unless it crashed here, but it doesn't look like it's crashed. It's not damaged. It's pretty well preserved, all things considered.
Exactly. So if we can find this prototype iron coin you wrote about, collectors are sure to go crazy for it. Paimon bets we could get a pretty penny for that one.
Or we could keep it as a souvenir of the cool adventure we had here today, Paimon.
Too bad we don't know where it's buried. Are we really supposed to dig up this whole place by ourselves?
We'll get a dressing down from the Black Barrel Hag if we don't.
Oh yeah, you're right. We mustn't get on the wrong side of her. You might be able to handle her attacks, but Paimon will have to fly far, far away. And speaking of the Black Barrel Hag, now that Paimon has seen Brahe's notes and all these iron coins, she finally understands why that old lady wants to bring back the good old days.
To her, those days must have been the real Elysium. Yeah, I see. She must not agree with Brahe's methods of distorting the tale of Reed Miller and making it more of this legend, this ideal that people should aspire. Well, not even necessarily that people should aspire to. It's to distract people from misusing the name of Reed Miller by pursuing something else. He's basically trying to send them on a wild goose chase to distract people from, and to make the idea of Reed Miller bigger than something that can just be easily copied. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily say it's inspiring, because, you know, I don't really think being a thief is something most people should aspire to, but I see what he means. He's trying to spread the ideal. But of course, him doing that represents the days of Aurelian Reed Miller being over, where, you know, good virtues and ideals and just wanting to do good was enough to be Reed Miller. If you were, I guess, a Reed Miller purist, it would probably take issue with the distortion of the name as it has been. To her, those days must have been the real Elysium.
Paimon thinks we're living in a pretty wonderful time too. You and Paimon and all the friends we've met in our journey, this is our golden age. That's probably how Tolfien feels it as well. He chose not to share the full history of the treasure hoarders with us because he didn't want us to bear the weight of expectation. Looks like this adventure ends here. Getting all 5 fruits of the Cognoscenti wasn't easy, and Paimon knows it was far from a fruitless journey, but she still can't help but feel a little disappointed. By the way, why do you think the ship is here?
That's what I'm wondering. Perhaps it sank under the weight of a greed it could not bear. Maybe it's a ship of dreams that ran aground before it ever set sail.
That must mean this is the treasure hoarder's secret dock. Hundreds of years have passed down and the local geography's changed. Paimon figures we're probably never going to get the chance.
I see. So this must have been by the water's edge. That makes sense. This is all sunken in now, but this must have been by the water's edge at some point.
That's such a shame. Even though this ship is hundreds of years old, it still looks almost new.
I know, that's what I'm thinking too. It's so well preserved down here.
Traveling would have been so much easier if we had a boat as big as this, wouldn't you think?
I'll be the captain, and Paimon, you can be the chief mate.
Aye, aye, Captain Teddy. Tying the jib to the mizzenmast and raising the port side anchor to the load line, Captain. How convincing is Paimon's chief matiness. Come on, take the helm and let's set sail.
Let me see. Try taking the helm. Okay. Anyway, looks like the true Reed Miller's treasure was the friends we made along the way. Literally. And I think we learned a good lesson with that. That's the helm. Oh? Are we actually sailing? The memories. Oh, this is what it looked like back in the day? It looks the same as it does today.
Relia, I'm still not happy about this. I mean, the treasure here has been marked by... Don't worry, we still have a few more days before the drill's over, and by the time the governor's notice, we'll already be in Snezhnograd. No one will think to come after us. That's not what's bothering me. What if he ends up on the hook for telling us where the treasure is? The text is moving too fast. Who? Oh, you mean that Brahe kid. What do you care? He got his fair share of the honey, and I haven't? What are you talking about? You and that kid are nothing alike. If you were on the same side as them, you wouldn't... don't worry about him. He'll be fine. He might be adopted, but he's still the governor's son. Besides, he's young. No one's gonna give him any trouble. I hope you're right. Okay, Relia and Sylvie. So this is what Bounty Island looks like. I guess it really does live up to its name. Alright, well that's where we are right now. What are we going to do with the loot? Same as usual? Though if we're taking it back to Snezhnograd, why not give it to the kids on the streets? I ran into them a few days ago while on patrol. That kid with the conch shell struck me as a smart one. They'll know what to do with the treasure, and who best to share it with. Suits me, let's do it your way. But compared to the treasure on display in the governor's palace, these little trinkets are hardly even worth the bother. Even in a backwater like this, those arrogant fools still indulge in their outrageous extravagance. Their shiny facade can't hide the fact that they're already rotten to the core. Have you seen it yet? This place is no different from Snezhnograd. Are we really supposed to fight to protect people like this? And protect them from those we have no quarrel with? The unseen, the downtrodden, the despised. I understand your anger, but there's not much we can do. There's not much we can do right now. But sooner or later, we have to upturn the status quo to weed out the corruption root and stem. I must rise to the top by any means necessary. I count myself lucky to have ended up fighting by your side, Sylvie. But I often find myself looking back to where I came from. It's a place my brothers and sisters remain, where they continue to endure the hardship they never should have to bear. Tell me, those innocent souls, were they born to suffer like this? If it's the law that is causing their suffering, then I shall rewrite the law. And if it's the corrupt nobles, then I shall purge them from their ranks. One day I'll raise an Elysia that belongs to us on this land, a land that has always belonged to us. I believe in you, Relia. I know you can accomplish your dream. Let's not talk about that now. Even thieves have their code, so I'll leave this behind. That way, the governor will know who took his treasure. It's just a pity I won't get to see his reaction myself. That would be a sight to behold.
What just happened? You found the treasure hoarder ship under a pile of iron and coins, and then you took the helm. After that, it felt like a dream, and then somehow we ended up here. Those two, they mentioned someone called Brahe. Either it's a crazy coincidence, or they must be from a long, long time ago.
At the very least, we know they have a connection to this place.
Yeah, and from what they were saying, there was once some treasure buried here, and even though they made off with it, it seems they left something else in its place. It's been so long, who knows if someone's already dug it up by now?
Normally, yes, but in this game, stuff is always left for us. Let's see if we can find it first.
It can't hurt to look. If Paimon remembers correctly, it should be somewhere around here. Paimon can't believe it's still here. Why didn't the governor come to collect it?
Oh, it's really pretty.
This is what they left here? Isn't this... Paimon doesn't understand. Let's ask Delphine about it. Paimon almost forgot. We should tell her what happened with the great treasure, too.
It was really cool how those iron coins, they seem to have Kuvaki properties. The first iron coin. An aged iron coin engraved with a stylized raven sigil. Legend says it was forged by Reed Miller, founder of the Treasure Hoarders, and was the very first true iron coin. It's really nice. Yes, it's really well preserved being underground for so long. In a world without borders, in a paradise where no one suffers from hunger or cold, the gold bestowed and governed by the Deus Ori was never meant to serve as the foundation of human cooperation. Humans should be masters of money, not its servants. Even if one cannot claim the heart of gold for themselves, all should be able to wield the wealth that inherently belongs to everyone. But that is a story of a much later time. Whether it was the first iron coin or the ideal sung, interpreted, and twisted over the following centuries, it all began on a winter's night beyond the reach of lamplight, when two children slipped from the academy, hiding from the adults' eyes, and carved a token for playing the thief extraordinaire. Relia... Was that supposed to be Aurelian and... What's the other guy's name already? Sylvester?
Stealing from Braha as a kid. Stone tablet. O Raven, king of all birds, felt in the net amidst the thornbush, cunning unfurled. I stand upon the hazel and the alder high, to hear the birds sing from me loudly by. Interesting. Should we read the... I want to read this, but I think it's going to take a really long time. The Fey Lord Filipov, deeply interested by the White Emperor, tend to believe the narratives would spare them from facing the truth. According to the tales that circulate in Nasha town, the Master Thief was the world's most skilled trickster, outwitted the most elite guards in the northern realm with fake medallion, emptied the governor's palace. Okay, well that's what they're describing with tricking Brahe, who would later become the next Reed Miller. It's a special envoy of the Tsar on a inspection. Do not worry for me, Aliyah. Do not wait for a future that's yet to arrive. I know you have your doubts about my friend, but please trust the plan for now. Do not worry about me, Aliyah. If I am indeed the prophesied ruler of Elysium, then no fate in this world can tear me from the brethren I hold dear. These are the last words the first Master Thief left for posterity. If only the girl who accompanied him could have been like her little twin sister. Watching the silvery thread come to its end, that moment would surely... Time, however, is ruthless to all. Before the young woman who usurped his name hid her face behind a mask. The young woman? Laugh at their fearful lies, brethren, for they cannot kill the Reed Miller, the Master Thief. They have murdered but a single crow, but with tomorrow's light a murder of crows shall rise to be at my back. Interesting. What's the last one like? Some say he did what he did to keep himself safe from the relentless searchers that swept through Snezhnaya. Others say he wore a mask to hide certain marks that had left on him by the executioner. No matter the truth, the Masked Thief's silver mask has become a symbol. He once prayed to the goals of your masters, but none answered your wails. That is because the gods are just as helpless. They are trapped in the mortal world beneath the moon. They cry out in horror and despair, but none heard them. Brothers, the gods can save no one. Like us, they couldn't even save themselves. All we could do is take pity on each other. The thief who wore the silver mask held the gods in open contempt, scorning the empty fame that the nobles vied for so desperately. To the taciturn thief, both the Northland Tsar and the mistress of the Frost Moon deserved his contempt and silence equally. Okay, well, don't hate on Columbina! Until that rush of moonlight poured from the high tower, incinerating both the silver and the resolve reflected in her eyes. Alright. Tolfien, I think you should explain some of this to us. This will be much faster. I'm kind of getting the gist of... Well, maybe not. I'd like to think I am. But who knows if I am. Oh, how do you get up there? Reed Miller, why did you put the Lunoculus so high up? Is there a way up? There's definitely a puzzle around here that helps us get up. But what is it? Oh, there's a Lightkeeper ship over here. Oh, it looks like it's been stolen by treasure hoarders, though. Not the Reed Miller treasure hoarders, just treasure hoarders, no copyright. Guess that's what happens. Treasure hoarder's gravedigger? Tuesday, better not be listening to that Nikki. Now's our chance. Let's take back what's ours. Oh, okay. We're helping the Ratniki here. This is gonna say this is the Ratniki ship. And thank you for letting us steal your treasure. Good work. We got our supplies back. No problem, dude. Thank you for giving me your treasure. I'll talk to Tolfien. Oh, he's back in Pyramida again. Wait, no, I should talk to your grandmother first, right? Actually, maybe I shouldn't. Seems kind of dangerous to do so. Where is she? Is she up here? I already forgot where she's at. Oh, she's here. Oh, she can take water damage. That's how you know. Like, she can be affected by hydro. Oh, she doesn't want to attack us. She doesn't want to fight with us either. Do you have treasure here? Treasure! Okay. I was like, what is that noise? That was just her deciding to stand in the rain instead of stand in the cover here. You should stand in the cover, ma'am. I know you're a tough lady, but you know, I don't want you to die of the cold before we can duel again. since that's how it's going around here. Great, now I have to discreetly climb back up Pyramida again. Hoping. So, Aaliyah was the twin sister of Isla, the first Moonchanter. She died before Isla became the first Moonchanter. Isla killed Lovia, who was like the evil priestess, who just wanted to train her to be an obedient heir instead. Oh, the music here is so lovely. Reed Miller. Lovia was trying to. They had prophesized there'd be the King of Elysium would be someone from the Frostmood Scions. So Lovia was doing these things to essentially keep, to put it in tasteful terms, which is keep the Frostmoon Scions bloodline pure. And then Reed Miller, I think his mother was from the Frostmoon Scions and of this pure bloodline, but his father was from Snezhnaya. So he's descended from the Frostmoon Scions, but ironically not fully Frostmoon Scions. But he's the King of Elysium that was prophesized in whenever. I think that's kind of how it goes, right? He was friends with Solove. Apparently he and his friend Sylvester broke out of the academy in Snezhnaya to become thieves. He knew Solove, who was the first Starshna. He knew Ilia. Sounds like they might have known Aaliyah as well. Braha knew Aaliyah too, even though he was younger than, I think, all of them. Aaliyah died because from... I don't remember. I guess Telfine might explain that right now, because it sounds like she's relevant to this. And then Rotwang was this evil professor. Have I, like, at least gotten 20% of the lore correct? I think I'm missing a huge amount of details in between, for sure. But at least am I on the right track with trying to piece this all together? Telfine, explain. Oh, if it isn't Teddy and Paimon. Have the two of you found the great treasure already? If you mean that pile of old iron coins.
We left those iron coins exactly where we found them. Well, actually,
they're on top now. Yeah, we didn't leave them exactly how we found them. They had Kuvaki properties, though. I wonder if they were like naturally infused with them, like all like say the bolts that are the local specialties around Nod-Krai, where the metal just became infused with it, or did they do something to it to make them filled with Kuvaki? You tell Telfine what happened at the treasure site and the strange things that happened after you boarded the ship.
For some reason, they left behind some sort of raven insignia.
It seems that the Earth remembers far more than we could ever imagine. As a storyteller, I can't help but be humbled by that. After all, human life is fleeting and oral history is prone to errors. Some stories may even be lost forever. Yet the Earth's memory no doubt remains true. Yeah, and that's a common theme we've had here in Genshin. Just reliving those memories, we see a first-hand account of it all. I think it only could have been Avrelian who... Oh, I see. Relia is like the middle of Avrelian. I think it could only have been Avrelian who left that raven insignia. You may be more familiar with another of his names. Reed Miller.
Huh? You mean that was the legendary thief Reed Miller? Paimon would never have guessed by looking at him.
I know, right? He just looked like a regular guy. From what you described, the things you saw almost certainly happened before the treasure hoarders were even formed. It said that back then he liked to play the role of heroic thief with his military academy buddies, stealing from the rich and helping the poor. In fact, that raven insignia was derived from the family crest of his noble-born academy classmate. But that's all in the past, so I shan't bore you with the details. No, bore us with the details, because I'm sure you'll explain it a lot better than, us trying to piece together random journal entries from across the ages. Anyways, seeing as how our fates appear to be intertwined, how about you two take this raven insignia as a keepsake? I assume accepting this doesn't automatically make me the treasure hoarder's heir. There's no need to worry. Like I said, the golden age of the treasure hoarders is over. However, there is still one slight problem. My stubborn grandmother seems to have taken a liking to you. If she ever asks you for a friendly sparring match, please don't turn her down, and don't pull your punches either.
Oh, she's so much stronger than a regular old lady. We wouldn't dream of doing anything but pummeling her with everything we got.
Alright, Paimon's really getting into it. Well then, the great treasure buried east of the moon, west of the sun, has been claimed by a pair of remarkable adventurers, and this performance too has come to its close. Yay! A new story for you to tell everyone as you traverse the land. Allow me to play you a tune to express my wish that every step of your journey be filled with mystery, and every path may bring you jubilation. Thank you. We did it! We found all 5 proofs of the Cognoscenti and Reed Miller's treasure! Complete east of the moon, west of the sun. There we go. The real treasure was the friends we made along the way. Isn't that right? What's the matter? Something else on your mind? About Reed Miller. The name Reed Miller was merely an alias, amassed to hide one's true identity. To the poor, Miller was a figure of admiration, while to the nobles, the very mention of him would draw curses and swearing. But it was never the name of just one person. I see. Very much like Robin Hood, then. Even amongst the earliest treasure hoarders, there were already 3 individuals who went by the name of Reed Miller. 3 of them. And that doesn't even include those who later chose to pose as Miller for one reason or another. Oh, like, Natochka. Why, just last week, I had a run-in with 2 petty thieves, both calling themselves Miller, who attempted to steal my harp. But that's a story for another time. Putting the latter-day pretenders aside, I do know a thing or two about the original trio. So, which of the 3 are you asking about? I want to know about all of them. About the first Reed Miller. The first to use this alias was Averlian. I've mentioned him to you two before. He was an orphan who was adopted by a rank-and-file military officer named Migneko after losing both his parents. As a result, he was able to attend the Snezhnaya Royal Military Academy. Interestingly, according to official records, shortly after Averlian became a non-commissioned officer, he died in the line of duty for unknown reasons, I see. Perhaps this was his way of getting out of the military, although I can't say for sure. No, it was definitely his way of getting out of the military. Whatever the reason, he surfaced in Nod-Krai a few years later under the name Reed Miller, gathering the destitute who lived on the fringes of society into a band that became the first treasure hoarders. Yeah, the original treasure hoarders, copyrighted. At that time, they recognized this young man from who knows where as their leader, believing that he would free them from their shackles and build an Elysium where all would stand equal. And ironically, the King of Elysium returns home to Nod-Krai. Just as the legends of the Frostmoon Scions foretold, or something like that, right? Unfortunately, even I cannot say what his true motive was, nor could I tell you how much about how the treasure hoarders operated at this time. Maybe he had a grand dream. Maybe, like my grandmother, he possessed a strong, unshakable faith. Or maybe he harbored some other, darker, more personal motive he couldn't share with anyone. Alright, please don't tell my grandmother I said that last part. Anyhow, all of that happened 5 centuries ago. For most people, the only thing known about the very first treasure hoarder is what eventually became of him, which was death by execution in Snezhnograd. Although he'd never been captured by the authorities before, he was convinced by a noble friend to walk away from his organization, leave everything behind and go to Snezhnograd, supposedly to explain himself to the Bely's Tsar or something like that. Unsurprisingly, he was promptly sent to his death without so much as a glimpse of the Tsar. That's why I say thieves and nobles don't belong together. It only ever ends in tragedy. I know, he was a noble thief, and he was far more noble than all the nobles that are in this story. Putting the latter-day pretenders... Okay, about the second Reed Miller. The second Reed Miller was a woman whose real name I do not know. All I know is that she was a traitor to the Frostmoon Scions who struck her name from history altogether. In truth, I have no idea what her connection to Averlian was, and as for the Frostmoon Scions of 500 years ago, Well, it was a pretty creepy place to be, judging by the poems I've read. Yep, same here. I think it was also a pretty creepy place from the texts and lore I've seen so far. According to Brahe, the entirety of Hisi Island was encircled by a golden wall even taller than Mont Essus and Fontaine, so I really have no good explanation for how she could have come to know an Avralian. Oh, so this is Aaliyah, right? You remember how when we were talking with that kid back in the Frostmoon Scions, talking about the legend of how Reed Miller came and swept this woman off her feet and stole her away from this place where she was trapped? That was probably Avralian, and he probably helped Aaliyah escape. That's probably how she ends up getting killed, is because she escaped from a place where, you know, Lovia didn't want anyone to escape because they are all supposed to not intermingle with the people in other parts of the world. And now the Frostmoon Scions have transformed into something entirely different, so much so that I wonder if they're too gullible these days. That's why I told Miss Hidimbi just a few days ago that she was real lucky. She's still around? I guess she's still around. We already dealt with her, but I guess she's still in hiding somewhere else. Had she tried to dupe the Frostmoon Scions of 500 years ago, she'd probably be with Al Otmor by now. So anyway, after Avralian was executed, she began donning that silver mask, claiming to be the master thief Reed Miller who escaped the gallows. She molded the treasure hoarders into a highly disciplined, quasi-military force that almost resembled a religious order. Her mantra was that no one should place their faith in gods or deities, for it was humanity alone that held the power to save its own. Strange as it may sound, the best way to describe the treasure hoarders of that era might simply be an irreligious religious order. Under the name Reed Miller, she gathered a large group of bandits, and together they picked the governor's palace in Nod-Krai to clean in a single night. That's cool, though. The woman Reed Miller. All the countless curios, antiques, mora, and jewels that they made off with, she gave all of that away to the poor of Nasha Town. This was the very storm of gold and silver that the cheap novels so fancifully describe. And now in Nod-Krai, the people absolutely revere Miller. But if you ask me, that had nothing to do with Avralian's dream, a dream that my grandmother believes in so staunchly. Alright, but guess it's staying more true to the original motive of literally taking from the rich, giving to the poor. And more so, the Elysium that Avralian seems to have dreamed of is really to just disrupt the order of things. Back in those days, Nod-Krai was an area ruled much like the old days of Mondstadt, and probably other regions in Teyvat as well. It was ruled by the aristocracy, and the poor did not even have a chance to really be able to make anything for themselves. There was a big disparity between the rich and the poor, and it just seems like Avralian's original dream is just to eradicate that. For most of the people living on this land, both his dream and Elysium are as distant as the moon. Who knows, maybe they're just dreaming of someone like her, someone who dropped loot from nowhere right into their laps without them having to lift a finger. Okay, the third Reed Miller. It's a bit embarrassing for me to say this, but of the three Reed Millers, the one I mentioned earlier, Brahe, is the one my grandmother really despises, alright? Well, he's the one that left all that iron coin treasure for us, so what's up with that? Much as my grandmother doesn't want to admit it, he's actually our forebear. Oh, I see. So like you guys are his descendants? He was of a station even higher than Solovey the Torch Forger. He was the adoptive son of the Fey Lord Trubetskoy, governor of all Nod-Krai. I see. So that governor is the evil governor making the lives of everyone else in Nod-Krai miserable. Which, and of course, quite brave of him to go against that and decide to help Reed Miller steal from the rich and give to the poor, albeit seemingly as an unwitting child at the time, but eventually taking up that mantle for himself. Some have claimed he was actually the governor's illegitimate son, and because the blood of the Fae ran through his veins, he was more handsome than most people you'd ever meet. Of course, that's probably just an unfounded rumor. I mean, surely neither of you can find any trace of Fae blood in my face, can you? I mean, from our experience actually meeting with one of the Fae, I don't really think most people can tell the Fae apart from humans these days. So we'll just have to leave that lost to time. Like Aurelian, he was a student at the military academy, though he enrolled long after Aurelian had graduated. I doubt the two of them ever crossed paths there. After graduating from the academy, Brahe returned to Nod-Krai, where, like every other Snezhnayan noble at the time, he settled into a life of indulgence and decadence. That is, until the night he caught a glimpse of the second Reed Miller as she looted the governor's palace. I see. So he was first forced to help the original Reed Miller steal, and then he witnessed the second Reed Miller stealing from him. Brahe fell in love with the Frostmanstein turncoat at first sight. Oh, I see. So enamored was he that he even abandoned his life as a noble to join the treasure hoarders. Really? That's all it took? Not, good morals and wanting to do the right thing? The nobility are at leisure to see the suffering of others as a beautiful, romantic fantasy, whereas the truly destitute are relegated to soulless villainy and rogues' roles in every tale. This is why my grandmother despises him so much. In her view, he was the one who tainted Aurelian's dream, the one who turned the name that rightfully belonged to the poor into one for a farcical story of romance. But it's just that he abandoned his life as a noble after his beloved passed and continued to rob the rich to help the poor and aid the people of this land. I see, so that's why he was talking about Aaliyah, because Aaliyah died, but she was the second Reed Miller. So after she took up the mantle of the original Reed Miller, he took up the mantle from her. So no matter what his motives were or how he went about achieving his goals, I don't think it can be said that he tainted Aurelian's name, not when we consider how many people he helped and how much he bettered their lives. It's no exaggeration to say that of all the stories about the master thief Reed Miller that can be found in the cheap novels out there, maybe 1 in 5 is about the traitorous Frostmoon Scion, 3 in 10 tell Brahe's tale, and the remaining half is just pure fiction fabricated solely to tantalize and reel in the reader. While my grandmother may be a steadfast believer in Reed Miller's dream, just what exactly is this dream? Even Brahe might not have fully understood it back in the day, so how could we claim to now? I mean, yeah, it seems like... that's what I'm thinking, is it's hard to understand truly what was Aurelian's dream now, when so much of what we know is of this tale that Brahe formed about Reed Miller. Becoming Reed Miller himself to spread this tale and carry on the work of the previous 2 Reed Millers. It does sort of overshadow what Aurelian's original dream could have been. Other than the original dream was a noble thing. Having said that, maybe all that doesn't really matter after all. As long as you believe in something, one must believe in something, if only to have the courage to face the morrow. Alright. Okay, tell me about the other things. About iron coins. Iron coins were a form of currency issued by Aurelian, that is, the very first Reed Miller. He believed that in a world without divisions, in an Elysium where no one went hungry or suffered from the cold, people should not be relying on wealth bestowed and governed by the gods to help each other. Okay, so he was anti-Mora as currency. He believed that people should be masters of wealth, not its slaves. And even if mastering the heart of gold might be an impossible task, everyone should have the right to wield the wealth that belongs to all to begin with. So that's his dream, which is very noble indeed. But as you can see, the iron coins he imbued with meaning quickly became worthless scrap metal after his death, largely due to the very people he had placed his faith in. I see. So that's why Brahe was talking about, he's not as naive as the previous 2 Reed Millers in believing in humanity. Oh, and by the way, there's another piece of info that came to me on the wind, though I cannot guarantee its veracity. And since I have no way to verify it, please take it as you will. In Snezhnaya, there's a Fatui Harbinger, with a rather peculiar obsession. He seeks to create a more perfect economic order in this world. That must be Pantaloni. Unfortunately, he is not a collector of iron coins. Otherwise, you might be able to make a whole fortune and more by selling these to him. Alright. Thanks for the tip. About the great treasure. It was the 3rd Reed Miller, that is, the one named Brahe, who left behind the legend of the great treasure. As for why he did that, maybe he just wanted to keep future generations of treasure hunters hooked so that the name Reed Miller would never be forgotten. Yeah, it sounds like he wanted to keep everybody on a wild goose chase to preserve the integrity of the name Reed Miller. Great! That was pretty fun. Digging up buried treasure. Even if that treasure is pretty monetarily worthless now, wasn't the true treasure, the amazing adventure we went on through all these different places to collect the 5 proofs of the Cognoscenti. Just having fun with that. What can I... What does this do? I still don't know what this box does. Can we not fight?
Come on then. Show me what you've got.
Okay. I take that back. Can we not fight? She's just standing there. Well, let's see how long it takes before my team dies. But maybe it might take longer than I think. Come on. Or when I get bored. This might take a while. Or maybe not. You know what? We're actually going through this lady pretty fast. Not as fast as we did the first time, but faster than I expected. Trigger's frozen or is overloaded? I don't have either of those. No, you've been telling me to do lunar reactions this whole time, and now suddenly you tell me not?
Defensive mode engaged.
It's faster than I thought. Maybe we should go back and fight that giant Mandragora after this. Not today, but I was thinking these you know, local legends are pretty tough. I don't know if we have what it takes. Maybe we do have what it takes. Okay. For battle armor? I'm just not wearing any battle armor.
Annihilation mode.
Uh-oh. Go, go, go! What are you doing? No! Oh, thanks, Columbina. I always forget about that. Thank you, Columbina. We might actually be able to do this.
Ultimatum protocol. Thunderclap. Take this. Still on my side.
Go, 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 Ether! Now that he's super strong, we can take out anyone! Go, 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 go. Anyway though, we went on so many different journeys across Nod-Krai to get all of these proofs of the Cognoscenti. And I guess people in the future will still keep looking for the proof of the Cognoscenti because they don't even know what's already been found. No! I can't have any elemental reactions now. Uh-oh. No, Kuhenki! What does this box even do? We're so close, dude. Okay, I better just heal up Columbina. No need to be stubborn. It'll be so much more unsatisfying to lose progress at this point. Okay. No, get your skill here! Columbina! Go, 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 go! You can do it! She doesn't attack that much, but when she attacks, apparently it hurts a lot. She just stands here a lot, you know? Yay! We did it! We defeated her. Alright. Well. Oh my gosh, so many particles. Oh, Kuheki. Oh, this must be how we get the Lunoculus. Alright, this is a great way to end off the episode. Yeah. Yay! No, I don't want to do that. I want to use the Kuhenki. Well, the Kuhenki will magnet the orbs to us. That's perfect! Thank you, Kuhenki friend. Let's do this. Over here. Yes, yes, yes! We got it! It's all ours! We can just drop down. And in a light of moon... ray of moonlight.
They call this a pleasant surprise, right?
That will be it for today's episode. So much fun! Oh, and look, our cat is like all blue. Alright! What a treasure hunt that has been. Thank you all for watching. And who knows where we're going to be going through in Nod-Krai next. But let's let the legend of Reed Miller linger for many more generations to come. Does sound like that's what all of the Reed Millers kind of would have wanted. So, yeah. See you next time!